This meeting of the Eau Claire City Council will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Berge.
Here.
Brewster.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Imboga.
Yeah.
Miller.
Here.
Otto. Reed.
Here.
Schoen. Serrano.
Here.
Worthman.
Here.
Great, thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday, January 27th meeting of the Eau Claire City Council. First up tonight is our consent agenda. So if anyone's here for the consent agenda, just so you all know that we vote on this with one vote. So when if it passes and your item wasn't taken out, you're good to go. You don't need to stay for the whole meeting. So do council members have any questions regarding the consent agenda or wish to remove any for separate consideration? Okay. Seeing none, then a motion by Councilmember Anderson, second by Councilmember Serrano. The consent agenda is moved. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Great, thanks. The consent agenda passes unanimously. We have two proclamations tonight, and I'm signing them so I don't forget. First up, we have Black History Month, and we'll do that one first, and I'll read it here in my chair, and then we have Transit Equity Day, and then Mr. Swanhorst will meet us at the podium. But first, Black History Month. So whereas Black History Month provides an opportunity to recognize, honor, and celebrate the many significant contributions of people of African descent to the economic, cultural, artistic, spiritual, and civic life of our nation and communities, and whereas the 2026 theme, A Century of Black History Commemorations, marks 100 years of organized efforts to preserve, study, and share Black history, beginning with the establishment of Negro History Week in 1926 and evolving into today's National Observance of Black History Month, and whereas these commemorations have played an important role in expanding historical understanding, encouraging education, and ensuring that stories, achievements, and experiences of African Americans are recognized as an essential part of American history. And whereas Black History Month serves both as a celebration of achievement and as a reminder of the importance of continued learning, reflection, and mutual respect within our communities. And whereas the City of Eau Claire is committed to fostering a welcoming and inclusive community, as our nation was founded on the principle that all people are created equal and deserve equal dignity, opportunity, and respect. Now therefore, I, Emily Berge, President of the Eau Claire City Council, on behalf of the entire City Council and the residents of Eau Claire, do recognize February 2026 as Black History Month in the City of Eau Claire and encourage all residents to learn about, reflect upon, and celebrate the lasting contributions of African Americans and the role that Black history commemorations that played in shaping a more complete and shared understanding of our nation's story. So there, that's good. Okay, and then we have our second proclamation, which is Transit Equity Day, and if Phil wants to meet me at the front. Oh, and Katrina, sorry.
And Katrina. Yes.
Transit Manager Katrina. I forgot, sorry. That's okay. Oh, okay. All right, proclamation. Whereas Transit Equity Day is a National Day of Action observed annually on February 4th, the birthday of Rosa Parks, whose courage and convictions helped spark the modern civil rights movement and forever changed the course of American history. And whereas Rosa Parks' refusal in 1955 to surrender her seat on a public bus was not only a powerful act of resistance against racial injustice, but also a defining moment in the history of public transportation. And whereas equitable access to affordable, safe, and reliable transportation is essential to individual opportunity and community well-being, connecting people to employment, education, healthcare, essential services, and social connection. And whereas public transit plays a critical role in advancing equity by serving people of all ages, incomes, and abilities, including seniors, people with disabilities, youth, and individuals who rely on transit and paratransit as their primary means of mobility. And whereas investment in public transit supports environmental sustainability, reduces greenhouse gas emissions, strengthens local economies, and contributes to healthier, more connected communities. And whereas the City of Eau Claire, through its strategic plan, affirms its commitment to equity, sustainability, and inclusive access to infrastructure and services, and recognizes public transportation as a vital tool in reducing disparities and improving quality of life for all residents. Now, therefore, I, Emily Berge, President of the Eau Claire City Council, on behalf of the entire City Council, do proclaim Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 as Transit Equity Day in the City of Eau Claire, and urge all residents to honor the life and legacy of Rosa Parks by continuing to support efforts that promote equitable access to transportation, strengthen community connections, and create conditions in which all people can thrive. So there you go. Thank you. Ms. Bill? Thank you, guys.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this proclamation. And I just wanted to share that I think now more than ever, it's really important for us to vocalize what matters to us. And I'm just really proud to live in a community that values equity, transit, and everyone that uses transit. So thank you.
I think most of you have heard me before. I think this is my 7th or 8th year of doing this, but it's always a great honor to receive the proclamation on behalf of all of the citizens of Eau Claire. I was a bus driver for a little over 15 years, been retired from that for 8 years, and even Steve Nick, you gotta admit, we go back when I was a bus driver, we knew each other. I was a little proponent of transportation and of our local transit system. I'm real proud of how it's evolved and how we emphasize over the years the ADA compatibility of our transit system, the ability of our transit system to be flexible enough to expand or contract certain routes. Right now, we're helping the new DRA Day Resource Center get service from the Sojourner House. A lot of trials, tribulations, and things we want to do, but it's always if and when and how and but we do get it done. So I'm proud of the transit system we have. I'm proud of the community that provides for our transit system, and I'm proud to accept this proclamation on behalf of the City Council for the entire residents of the City of Eau Claire. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Now onto our business agenda. First up, we have granting licenses. So we have a resolution granting a combination Class A intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverage license to Indian Oil Company LLC doing business as Circle K on 4304 Jeffers Road. It looks like Mike Gust, agent. And then, Mr. Herbinson, Attorney Herbinson?
Assistant City Attorney. Oh my goodness.
Assistant
Or
City
Justice
Attorney,
Jumble.
not Assistant to the City Attorney, but Assistant City Attorney.
Blake Herbison.
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Thank you, President
He also
Berge.
accepts Hammer.
Oh,
Hammer
Hammer.
Herbison.
Well, that's way easier to say.
Hammer Herbison. Thank you, President Berge. Good afternoon, council members. I'm here to present to you on agenda item 9, and additionally, I'm going to lump in this presentation for agendas item 10 and 11, which are all resolutions granting combination Class A alcohol license to this applicant. However, my presentation for you this evening is going to be short because the applicant has withdrawn each of these applications for consideration at this time. However, we anticipate that the applicant will reapply in future months, potentially in June or July, for council consideration after addressing the concerns that were highlighted in my memo to council. So because the applicant has withdrawn the applications in order to reapply at a later date, I would request that the council, that you would make a motion to postpone indefinitely agenda items 9, 10, and 11.
Okay, motion to postpone indefinitely. Okay. Oh, are there any questions about any of this from council members? Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. Assistant City Attorney Herbison, were you going to present the information, or that's it, we're just going to ask for you postpone this definitely now?
Yes, just asking that you would postpone. If you have any questions, I'm happy to.
No, that's fine. I didn't know if there was any further information, but that is sufficient. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Great. Okay. Do we have to motion it first, move it first and then postpone? City Attorney? Yeah, okay. So by motion made by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Brewster, this item is moved. Councilmember Brewster?
I would like to move to postpone the aforementioned items indefinitely.
So 9, 10, and 11 items.
I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to postpone items 9, 10, 11 indefinitely. Any discussion? Okay. See none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen. Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Okay.
Anderson.
Aye. And that postponement passes unanimously. Okay, then we have boards, committees, and commissions. This is appointments and reappointments to boards, committees, and commissions. And I, as chair of that committee, will I'll just say out loud what the appointments committee recommends for appointment. So under the North Barstow bid, there are 3 reappointments: Julia Johnson, Jennifer McHugh, Blaine Midtune. Under the Senior Center Board, there were 3 reappointments: Colleen Bates, Brian Bessa, Janet Lesanowski, and then 3 new appointments: David Backstrom, Beryl Middleton, Linda Mogensen. Then for our Sustainability Advisory Committee, 1 new appointment: Andrew Neese. 2 new appointments for Transit Commission: Kristen Books, Jordan Ruff. For Water Street Business Improvement District, 2 new appointments: Lisa Aspenson. Oh, sorry. So 2 new appointments are Caitlin Taylor and Ashley Turner. And then the 4 reappointments are Lisa Aspenson, Michael Dooley, Jed Hart, John Mogensen. Okay, so that's what we have before us. Any questions on that? Then I'll move it. Okay. Then a motion made by Councilmember Imboga, seconded by Vice President Worthman. This item is moved. Any discussion? Okay. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye. That passes unanimously. Thanks for all the volunteers who are stepping up and serving our great city. Okay, number 13, granting excess land and land sale. So a resolution granting excess land and a land sale of parcel 02-0390 located at 402 Graham Avenue to 402 Graham First Floor LLC. And this was postponed from our last meeting. And Director White.
Good afternoon, Council President Berge and council members. I don't have any new additional information to present tonight beyond what was presented last night. I will add that the developer is intending to be here. Due to the extreme efficiency of Assistant City Attorney Herbison, we're a little ahead of schedule from what we thought we might be. The developer expects to be here by 4:30 to be able to answer any questions from that end, but I would be happy to answer any additional questions.
Any questions from last night or 2 weeks ago? Okay, not seeing any, so, oh, Councilmember Serrano.
Well, I'm just kind of wondering if we should wait until the developer is here, but maybe not necessary. No, never mind.
We can talk slow. Councilmember Brewster?
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. I was wondering if it would be possible to move some things around so we can come back to this,
Sure.
like at the end of the meeting or something. I feel like there's probably gonna be some questions that it might be good to have the developer on hand for.
Okay.
So I guess I would move that we suspend the rules and reorder the agenda.
Is that, do we suspend the rules to reorder? Yeah, City Attorney Nick?
The motion that would be in order would be to table, so you could table it to the end of the business agenda.
I so move.
Okay, there's a motion to table item 13 to the end of the business agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hopefully a voice vote was fine. All right, so that passed unanimously, and now we are skipping to Transit Equity Day. Just don't let me forget, number 13. It's a resolution authorizing the Community Services Department to accept a monetary donation from Joining Our Neighbors Advancing Hope, or JONA, for free transit rides in honor of Transit Equity Day on February 4th, 2026, and for marketing the event. And Director Running, sorry. I'm getting all, yeah.
It's okay.
Manager Running.
Yep.
Yes, got it.
Good evening again. So next week we will be having our Transit Equity Day celebration, and Jonah volunteered to donate to cover all of the fares for that day for both fixed route buses and then also to sponsor paratransit. So they work out with our paratransit provider to cover the copays for all of those users, but this would be a donation to cover the fixed route buses. And I also wanted to mention we'll be having a celebration at noon on February 4th at the new Transfer Center to celebrate Transit Equity Day.
Great. Thank you. Is there any questions? Okay, no? All right, thank you. And then a motion made by Councilmember Miller, second by Councilmember Reed. This item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Serrano?
I just want to make a comment. I really appreciate everybody for bringing this forth, both Manager Running and I know that who spoke earlier on the proclamation, Phil Swanhorst, is a member of the community who's a big proponent of transit. I just really appreciate bringing that visibility to the council and to our community, and appreciate Jonah very much for this contribution as well.
Thank you. Any comments? I don't see any, so City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Anderson.
Aye.
Bergie.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Yes. Okay. Then the high-level goals of the strategic plan. So it's a resolution adopting the vision, community values, and high-level goals of the strategic plans. City Manager Hirsch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So you've all been involved in this, and it's kind of just trying to inch it along and solidify however far we've gotten for each step. So just a review of what we've done. The most recent update of the plan was in late 2019, and then I think adopted early in 2020. And then in the fall of '24, we held some workshops with a vendor named Michael Ford to collect council priorities. And then over last year, we had a strategic planning ad hoc committee that met and talked about options. And then in the fall of '25, we worked with West Central Wisconsin Regional Plan Commission to continue the development of our vision, our community values, and our high-level goals. And we had a bunch of steps that you all participate in. So this is where we landed with the community values and the corresponding description and the corresponding high-level goals. And in different strategic plans, you could call these different things like objectives or whatever, but this is kind of more plain language version of it, in my opinion. You've seen these before. And what I'm looking to do now at the encouragement of Scott Allen is to have you guys adopt the community values and the high-level goals with the expectation that now these, along with the work plan and work activities that you've also seen, will go into a period of public comment, including with our boards, commissions, and committees who can chime in, and then I'll come back to you for a final version. And we did receive feedback from Dang Yang, which I thought was reasonable and could get integrated. So that is something that I could just go ahead and integrate at your direction. It doesn't, I don't think, change the anything super significant, or it can be included in the next version. And then this is also the vision statement. Basically, it's gone through some different iterations, but we understood that you wanted it to be something meaning welcoming, or that we welcome all. And this is where we landed. All are welcome here, with languages, with the word welcome in different languages spoken, the most commonly spoken languages in Eau Claire. And so you guys can give me a preference for those. And it's going to replace that behind you there. And then, and we had a work session on January 13th, which was very compressed because it was very late at night. Today, I'm asking you to formally adopt the vision, community values, and high-level goals with the expectation that it could still get revised. And then we will go into a period of seeking. Basically, my goal is to reconcile all the different plans and work plans and reports and studies that we have. So we're kind of all working off of one document. And I personally, my takeaway from all of this is that our strategic plan is not going to be like a silver bullet that helps us clarify everything, but it has to be just like a living document that we carry around and keep referencing until it really becomes a guiding document, whether it be in our boards, commissions, and committees, in our hiring activities, and your evaluation of me, and our budget document, our community meetings. Like, we kind of have to carry it around and just test it against all the different activities we're doing, so that hopefully all those kind of come together. So these would be some of the ways that it could get integrated into just like our living, breathing document that's our marching orders on a day-to-day basis. Okay, any thoughts? You guys okay with this plan, or?
Questions? Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. City Manager Hirsch, could you back up a screen or two? Oh, sorry, the forward one, you're there, yep. January through March 2026, public comments welcome. So it looks like it would probably go to the boards, committees, commissions, go to different groups. How would the public best be able to interact and engage and submit feedback? Like, will it be, I'm guessing it'll probably be in your weekly city manager report at some point. Could it be on a Monday comment session so that people could like speak to it? How would you envision community feedback happening?
Yeah, we could
Like
definitely.
more like public, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Do you picture that the community would provide feedback on the work activities or these high-level goals?
I was thinking the high-level goals.
Yeah, so they could do that. I can reiterate that and put it in the newsletter again. Kind of where the rubber meets the road is in the work activities. So I hope at least the boards, commissions, and committees will look at the work activities, because they separately have work plans, which kind of overlap, but not completely with what we're doing and with what your goals are. But yeah, we can definitely have the public comment on this, and maybe also the work activities, if you like.
Okay.
Councilmember Mboga?
Thank you, Council President. City Manager Ash, my question is related to what you said about this one.
Yeah,
Do you want us to replace this one?
it's up to you, but that was the feedback that I thought I had heard.
I
You
would
like to keep that?
I like to keep this one, plus can you go to the back slides? The
Yeah.
one- Those like welcome. If we can have this one and this one, the bottom here, I think it will sound better. Because this This talk about we, the city council, the staff, and the community. Plus that one now, people from more different, background or walks of life, they are also included. That's me. Yeah, but,
Further discussion.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess I think I'll pull you guys. No matter what, though, it has our old logo.
Yeah, it has to go anyway.
But I believe this was our old vision statement. Is that right? So, but let me pull you guys offline, and then I'll just do whatever your preference is.
okay, thanks.
Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to, I guess, encourage input on both, on the activities as well as the goals.
Okay.
If that's something that you're able to get.
Sure.
I'm assuming most people wouldn't, write you an entire missive on all that, but, if people have something important that they want to add, I think it would be worth listening to. So if you're okay with that,
Yeah.
that would be my preference.
Vice President Worthman.
Thank you, Council President. Could I ask, how these graphics were developed?
These?
Yeah.
It's just kind of,
Canva.
yeah. But do you have
Well,
if you have another resource too, we
I
can.
have an idea in my mind, which is that the logo of the city and the name, City of Eau Claire, should be together, and that all are welcome here, and the other languages that say that should also be together. It'll create a better feeling, and people will understand it more, that it's kind of two components. It's our city logo, one thing, and then all are welcome here are the motto and all the other mottos. So you could almost be like the center left one, but that there's just a little bit more space or feeling of how those are different, because it almost feels like in all of these designs that the all are welcome here in English and the City of Eau Claire logo are one thing. Does that make sense?
I think that, I'm sorry, through
Yeah,
the chair.
yeah, City.
I think we can have you meet with our graphic
Okay.
design artist who's Tess. And,
Awesome. Okay.
and you tell her and she'll mock it up for you, and then we can circulate that and all of these to everybody,
Okay.
including Councilmember Mboga's point, and then maybe you guys can decide. Does
So
that
maybe
sound good?
everyone can
Anybody.
submit
You can stop
ideas.
by. Yep. You
Okay,
can stop
great.
by and talk to her and tell her your vision, or write to her, and she'll she'll add more options.
our illustration department.
Yes, that's our vast illustration department.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Councilmember Mboga?
Yeah, there's something, thank you, Council President. There's one idea which has come out. Is there any way we can ask the community if they like this? Can we change this logo to that? Is there any way we can send some, we have a feedback from them?
Wait, so ask the community what they want, what we should have as our sort of vision statement?
Yeah, I feel like we should involve them.
I'm happy to do whatever you guys, this is really your kind of guiding Northern Light, so whatever you guys.
I feel like they feel like they're part of the solution.
When we're gathering feedback, we can put this on there too.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Councilmember Brewster?
Thank you, Council President. Since Councilmember Mboga is very interested in preserving that, I wonder if we wanted to put a new one with our actual current logo up there, if maybe that could be like a display thing somewhere in the hall, like this.
Yep, we
This
could do that.
this stood behind the
Yeah.
the council dais from such and such
I like
time
that.
to such and such time.
With
And
our
that
photos.
way we're not getting rid of it, people can still see it, and, we can have the new logo.
I will say that Council Member Mboga has also said he wants to have plaques with the prior councils in this chamber, in your chamber, and I think that's a great idea. So that I like that history, if we could figure out how to do it.
Be a lot of, yes? Great. Any other comments? All right. Let's see. So we are voting on adopting the vision, community values, and high-level goals. However, next step, it is going to public feedback stage. So I don't think I've moved it yet, right? So by motion by Councilmember Anderson, second by Councilmember Serrano, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay. Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President. I understand that this is, kind of putting something maybe a little bit more formally by us adopting it, where we still want to have a lot of input and maybe it's still fluid. But I actually like the idea of kind of taking this step. It's a lot easier to get input on something that exists rather than a nebulous idea of a strategic plan or something that's many, many, many pages. I commend City Manager Hirsch for putting this forward as like, okay, let's start. This is the way to kind of keep the process going. So I like this approach, even though I can understand people might feel a little bit like, oh, but we don't have all the input we need for it yet. But I think it's a start, so I support this.
Okay, thanks. Okay, all right. And City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Imboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman. Anderson,
Aye.
Bergy,
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next, we're on our Ad Hoc Fiscal Stability Committee. Yeah, oh, yes, Councilmember Brewster?
I was wondering if we could pull item 13 off the table, since the person we were waiting for has arrived,
Oh, it's dramatic.
and what that would,
Okay.
if that is a sufficient motion.
If there's no objections from council, I'm not seeing any, so we'll go back to item 13. So, resolution granting excess land and land sale of parcel 02-0390 located at 402 Graham Avenue to 402 Graham First Floor LLC. So, Director White.
So once again, no new information to present. The applicant and the developer is in the room. We'd be happy to answer any questions on our part, and the developer is available for questions from council as well.
Great, thanks. Any questions? Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Council President. I was just wondering if you could kind of go over in layman's terms what happens on the off chance that the parameters of the contract are not followed through.
So there are clawback provisions should the construction not occur after conversations with the developer and making reasonable accommodations. Should there be something unique that stepped up, the property would come back to the city ownership, and the city would then be free to execute development within that space. That's in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Not seeing any, so thank you.
Thank you.
So by motion made by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Brewster, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay. Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Council President. I think this is a good option in front of us. It'll save both money and staff time, as well as ensure that a piece of property that likely probably should have never been a parking lot to begin with, right next to the river, will be developed into something that allows more of our fellow residents to enjoy our downtown more regularly, as well as adding to the city's tax base in a way that promotes infill. So I will be supporting this, and I urge you all to do the same.
Thanks. Councilmember Mboga?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. I can say maybe 3 less than reach out to me today. They say this is a good idea, the city is saving money. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Director White, City Attorney Nick, for exceptional work you did. So we are proud of you. I don't think our city council will tell you a lot of what you guys do behind behind the curtain, but thank you for what you did. This is really good. This is a win for us. Thank you.
Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I also really like this idea and support it. I have an amendment that I think I've passed to everybody here to try to, and kind of playing off of a few of the questions I had last night, that just to give the developer a little bit more flexibility. The current language that we were looking at last night talked about a multi-story residential building with either 26 units as an apartment building of 3 stories, or 36 units as an apartment building and a building of at least 4 stories, or a minimum of 55 units as an apartment building and a building of at least 5 stories with rooftop decks or balconies. And that all sounds good. I like that flexibility. But I've gone ahead and added in this amendment, or a combination of condominium and apartment units totaling a minimum of 26 units with mixed, and then continuing on with the original language, with mixed material, quality facades and construction methods, and sufficient on-site and adjacent parking to meet city code requirements. So really, my interest is just making sure the developer has ample flexibility that doesn't tie them to, having these 3 levels of only rental as possible development options in terms of density. This is more density than what originally came to us 2 weeks ago. So I think that was, part of the sentiment of council 2 weeks ago, is we'd like to see more density here. But I personally just am putting forth this amendment to give, maybe even encourage, if possible, but certainly to give the flexibility to the developer to have some ability for ownership and condominium, purchase, having individual folks be able to buy some property there on the river. I think it gives us stability in our downtown to have, residential ownership, and I just think there's a lot of benefits in having the kind of mix that would bring us in terms of housing.
Great. So that's your motion,
That's
right?
my motion. Sorry,
Okay.
I talked all about my reasons for it.
Yes.
I should have just given the motion
I just
and then
probably
talked to it.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's all ones.
And Councilmember Miller, are you the second?
I would second the motion.
Okay. Would you like to speak to it?
Sure, I do the same thing. I talk all over the motion before just making it and getting into it. But yeah,
Very
so
gracious.
I think I kind of the proposal from the developer, Mr. Seaver, is good, and it's good to have the property used and developed into housing in the core and along the riverfront. It's just that this is currently city-owned property, and while all the apartments look good, it was the 8 units only and the low density, and also the price that would come with. And then I hear people in the community, economically talking, people talk about the economy is a little K-shaped. The people on an upward trajectory are doing well, where people that are having hard times only have harder times. And I just couldn't bring myself to selling it and having only like 8 higher priced units. The original proposal did have all these other options, like apartments in there. And what this does, it brings back the option for owner-occupied condominiums, but it still maintains the minimum that the developer had agreed to of 26, but they can be, like Councilmember Serrano just said, all apartments, or you could put in some owner-occupied condominiums in there as well. So I think it's kind of merging, and it just gives more options. The minimums of what was in our packet yesterday are still there, and plus, and if, the options are there, so I think it's a good compromise to have all that in one. So that's why I'm supporting the amendment.
Okay, great. Thank you. Councilmember, or Vice President Worthman.
I think this is a question, if I could ask Director White.
Sure.
I apologize, I wasn't here at the meeting 2 weeks ago. But so, on our agenda, there's a excess land sale. That's the item
Yes.
we're talking about right now.
Correct, the excess land
along-
declaration and a development agreement that would approve the
Alongside that is
sale.
this development
Correct.
agreement? Okay. Because, and I want to just clarify that, because in some prior years, we had done those as steps that were not together, where it was an excess land, and then a development agreement would come at a different stage. But this seems like a different arrangement, essentially, that we've brought those two together into one item.
Correct. It is a little bit different in the process. When it first came forward, the concept that we would likely be looking at demolition of the Riverside ramp, we did start reaching out. The Economic Development Division reached out to a number of developers, folks who've expressed interest in the area, expressed interest in the space, to try and see if there was an interest in developing that space. Saw very to no responses. Initial responses, and then when they dug further, finding out that it's a tiny space and it's 7 feet below flood elevation, interest disappeared.
Okay.
When the CIP was released and we were putting forward the demolition timeline for 2026, Commonweal, NAI Commonweal came forward with a specific proposal tied to it. There is an opportunity to potentially allow them to realize some cost savings in how they develop the site for the parking piece by letting them take the site over instead of us doing demolition and then selling a site that has to be built back up. So it seemed appropriate to bring them both together and present them both as two-step process. Obviously, the excess land could be approved and the DA maybe is not approved, or neither can be approved. Demolition would then proceed as budgeted, and we would look to try and find an alternative use for that site potentially. But it is a little bit of a variation, but the timing allows for some potential efficiencies and cost savings.
So just for clarity, the normal process of excess land declaration and then going to the open market to see what proposals might come forward, that isn't happening, but instead, because there's interest and because there wasn't much in terms of prior interest, this agreement is coming alongside an excess land. That's the reason why we're not putting it out to a broader public
Correct.
process.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're still in the discussion. Any other discussion on the amendment by Councilmember Serrano and Councilmember Miller? Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President. I just have a few more things to say. I really appreciate Mr. Schaefer's willingness also to kind of move on this quickly and provide the interim parking needs right now for like the next 5 years, up to the next 5 years. I really appreciate that kind of responsiveness and flexibility there. And my hope again is that where it could be up to 5 years, hopefully that gives enough time to kind of figure out what is actually the best thing that is needed. And I think that was the intent behind this, is to see what the market is looking like a few years down the road and see what is most needed. Again, that's the reason for my interest in giving maximum flexibility.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Any other discussion, comments? Councilmember Brewster?
Thank you, Council President. I guess from like a legal standpoint, this wouldn't bind the purchaser to anything really at all, just, make it clear that that's something that we are also okay with. Is that how you would read it?
It's a question to
City Attorney.
City Attorney Nick.
I'm reading it in real time with you, so
Okay.
I haven't seen it, nor has the developer until just now. I can tell you that it doesn't appear to do anything new. So apartment doesn't mean rental. Apartment just means multiple dwelling units in a building. So the means of financing that is not something that we typically control. We don't control it by our zoning, and we don't typically control it in our development agreements either. It's a multi-storied, multi-dwelling unit apartment building, whether that's financed by direct sale and home ownership through condominium or some other device, a co-op, an apartment, that is for, developer to determine. So this seems to just add ors, which I think doesn't hurt anything, but I typically would not recommend those sort of things to be drafted in, because it just adds more things to potentially be confused about. But just know that ownership, whether through condominium or any other means, isn't prohibited or restrained in the current version of the agreement. So it's perfectly feasible even without the adoption of the amendment.
Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, the reason, when I'm reading Section 5, the language that we had before us yesterday, it specifically called out rental housing. So that's why, that's what kind of caught my eye and caught my attention, is why I drafted this initially. It says, the original language is conventional multifamily housing. This is in Section 5. Multifamily housing featuring 3 floors of rental housing above 1 or 2 levels of parking, whichever approach developer determines best meet market need and demand. So when I read that, it seemed to confine it to rental, is why I even brought the amendment forward.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, so we will vote on the amendment then. So, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Bergie.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. So now we'll go to the original motion. Any discussion on that? Or questions? Okay. Seeing none. So your clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Bergie.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Okay. All right. So that was item 13. I did 15, now we're on 16. So Ad Hoc Fiscal Stability Committee, this is a resolution appointing members to the Ad Hoc Fiscal Stability Committee. So City Manager Hirsch.
Thank you. As you may recall, we reconstituted this committee for this year, and because we reconstituted it, we need a new slate of 5 members. So we're looking for people who would like to participate,
From
to be
council.
appointed today from council.
Has anyone, do you know of anyone's interest? Okay. All right. Okay, so not, it hasn't been determined before, so we will, all right. So let's see, how should we do this? Yeah, I guess if someone wants, so we need 5, so I'll ask if people want to put their name in the hat. So yeah, so I saw the light on, so Councilmember Brewster, and then Councilmember Serrano. I'm just gonna get the names first. Anyone else? 3 members. And maybe if people aren't here, we can appoint them. I could ask, they both might be available by phone. I could call them, take a break. Unless, is there anyone here that, City Manager Hirsch could call?
No, I want to ask.
Yep, a question, yeah.
Yeah, when does they meet?
We'll have to meet around your schedule. I will
My
say that
my
Councilmember
schedule.
Mboga, you had expressed interest before in participating.
Yeah,
so-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know some people, yeah, so we'll have to figure out who's on it and then schedule around your availability.
Okay. I think, write my name down, please.
Okay, Councilmember Mboga? This is for a year. I could be on it, because that's the problem with volunteering, but, and then when the new president comes in, they probably want to be on it too, so I'll put Bergie down. So we need,
Can I
One.
nominate somebody?
yes.
I would like to nominate Vice President Worthman.
Sure. I was second.
Okay. Okay, so we have Vice President Worthman, President Bergie, Councilmember Mboga, Councilmember Serrano, Councilmember Brewster. Anyone else wants to nominate someone or self-nominate? Okay. Then we will put these names in the resolution and vote on it. That works. So we'll be appointing members Councilmember Brewster, Councilmember Serrano, Councilmember Mboga, President Berge, Vice President Worthman to the Ad Hoc Fiscal Stability Committee. So, any discussion? I don't know. I don't think we did. So moved by, got my sheet. Councilmember Mboga, second by Vice President Worthman. Now, is there any discussion? Okay. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Congrats to us. All right, special assessments for street and utility improvements. This is a final resolution approving the project and levying special assessments for street and utility improvements on the following streets: County Line Road, 2,800 feet west of Jeffers Road to Jeffers Road; Dorrit Road, south city limits to Vine Street; Marquette Street, Riverview Drive to Star Avenue; Woodland Avenue, Chauncey Street to Margaret Street. Then we heard on this last night, but Director Ness will come up for any further information.
Good afternoon. Our department took a couple calls today regarding assessments related to the projects that we discussed yesterday. No additional questions were forwarded to engineering, and I did send out to council members the petition that was received related to Marquette Street, and if there's any questions, I can take them.
Any question? Yeah, Councilmember Mboga?
Thank you, Council President. Director Ness, I drive there today, and there's a stop sign at the end of Marquette and the Star. Then just 100 yard, that's what you suggested yesterday, that you're gonna probably have a roundabout. Did you guys think about that one? Because I feel like there will be more traffic there, because the stop sign is not far from where you're gonna put the a roundabout.
Yes, the original study that directed us to look at roundabout control at the Mercury and Marquette intersection also directed us to look at Star and Marquette as well. Due to the utility transmission lines in that area, there would be substantial impacts with that line and encroachments into right-of-way and private property that we would have to acquire for the construction of a roundabout at Star and Marquette. So we did narrow that out as an alternative due to those issues related to a roundabout at that location.
Okay, Councilmember Brewster?
Thank you, Council President. Director Ness, I was just hoping to get some, I guess, re-clarification, because I think I've probably asked this before when we've done other road projects. But when people get a special assessment for road projects, that's generally considered sort of like the worst case scenario, like, and if sidewalk doesn't need to be replaced afterwards, or if, you know, things aren't done to the degree on that it will be cheaper than that for the homeowner.
We like to think that we provide a worst case scenario with the estimates that are provided, and when the project is brought forward, once we have the approval for that to send the assessments, we will meet with the property owners in the spring prior to construction to look at the sidewalk, at the driveway truck apron, walk through retaining wall improvements if there's retaining walls associated with the property, look at potential landscaping with the property owners. Property owners a lot of times will have questions related to their sprinkler system, if they have sprinklers in the boulevard, and how they need to address those with the construction project as well. So I did talk with a couple individuals after the meeting last night related to sidewalk removal, if they have new sidewalk. If the sidewalk does not have cracking, if there's no heaving issues with it, if it's in good condition, we try to keep that. So that is something that we estimate on some of the larger lots, like let's say the North High School property. That's a very long stretch of sidewalk along that property. We probably estimated that 50% of that sidewalk is going to be replaced. Not all of it, but on a residential parcel, we estimate that all of it's going to need to be replaced. And the lots along Marquette are larger lots compared to other lots within the city. They ran between 100 and 120 feet, where in another neighborhood, let's go to Woodland, those properties might be 60 to 77 feet. So we base the residential sidewalk off of the entire length of the sidewalk on those properties, where looking at a commercial property, we may estimate that it's not going to be the entire, just due to the length of those properties.
Thank you for your clarification.
Councilmember Boga?
Thank you again, Council President. I think this question is for our city attorney, Nick.
He's ready.
So, last night, there's a resident who live in Marquette, and they said that majority of them, they are on a fixed income, they are like retired. And they said that, I don't know whether we can do this one, so he said that they can have a grace period of 2 years because of this special assessment. I think it's like $10,000. As this city council body, do we have that power to do it? Or have you guys done things like this before?
City Attorney Nick?
The assessment policy is something different from your street project, so you're applying your assessment policy. You're able to review and make changes to that. Things like the interest rate has been adjusted periodically. I think when I started it was 8 or even double digits. I know it was reduced to 6% a number of years ago. So you could certainly make other changes to it. By policy, you also only specially assess approximately half the total cost. It varies project by project based on the street that's being built. The law allows you to specially assess 100% of the cost, but in Eau Claire, roughly half of it, half of street projects get paid by the general fund, so general property taxes, and half are paid for by individual property owners. So it's always a difficult balancing point, but that's by way of background. But the shorter answer, I guess, is it's not in front of you now. So what you're deciding is whether to do the projects and assess it per your policy and not make one by one exceptions. There is an assessment appeals board where if people don't have the ability to pay, they can apply to that for very limited exceptions. Even then, it's a deferment that still applies interest.
Thank you. Any other questions? Vice President Worthman?
Thank you, Council President. City Engineer, I received an email from a Woodland resident, who I believe was here last night as well, discussing challenges with paying, and I wonder if I shared that with you, but I'm wondering if he could be provided the different options for support. Sounds like you financially maybe can't make it work.
If they reach out to us, we can talk through those options
Okay.
with them.
And then on the Woodland project, I wasn't here last night, but is there an idea about some of the trees that would be impacted by the project potentially? Was that talked about last night?
Yep, looking at that project, there are 2 trees that we anticipate need to impact with the project, but otherwise, most of the trees are, the sidewalk is a back of curb for the majority of the project, and it would just be widening the sidewalk to meet that 6 foot behind curb width. We don't anticipate a lot of impact with that. There is a little bit of fencing, a little bit of landscaping, but it did not look like there were many trees related to that. Looking at the 2 trees, they are larger trees, but not
High value.
quality trees that we would need to look into further.
And if I could follow up with one further question. So just so I'm clear that the trees that are up on this, on the southerly side of the project up in people's residences are likely not to be impacted.
Correct.
And I assume part of the high cost of this project is because of the retaining walls on a number of properties that basically have to get redone. Those are really not cheap.
Correct, and we added fees related to assessments for retaining walls into the assessments. If we can stay away from those retaining walls at all, we will. Our goal is to not impact them at all. If property owners want to address them and we are not getting into them, they can work with us through that process, but it's something that we will talk with property owners on an individual basis.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. I see any more questions? Thank you, Director
Thank you.
Ness. Okay. A motion made by Councilmember Miller, second by Councilmember Reed. This item is moved. Any discussion? All right, seeing none. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Okay, then we're on 18, so sidewalk to be repaired. This is a resolution ordering sidewalk to be repaired in accordance with Wisconsin Statute 66.0907 on the following streets: Marquette Street, Riverview Drive to Star Avenue, Woodland Avenue, Chauncey Street to Margaret Street. And Director Ness is back.
All right, this is related to the 2 projects that have existing sidewalk along them. It allows us to replace or repair sidewalk panels that are cracking or heaving and need replacement. So just separate from sidewalk, brand new sidewalk being installed.
Great, thanks. I don't see any questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
A motion made by Councilmember Anderson, second by Councilmember Serrano. This item is moved. Any discussion? Seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
And the item passes unanimously. Now we have our Housing Opportunities Commission Work Plan. This is a resolution approving the Housing Opportunities Commission Work Plan. And we have Billy, or is it, what's your title nowadays? Plan?
Community Development Project Coordinator.
Okay, Community Development Project Coordinator, Hufford.
Thank you, Council President, council members. So we have about 50 minutes to stretch this out, so bear with me. We're going to ask you guys to postpone this vote also. Just kidding. We got some feedback from legal to make a few changes, mostly just wording. And we want to take it back to Hawk so they can see it before we present it to you guys. With Hawk's calendar, they meet the Wednesday after your first meeting in February, so we couldn't bring it back to that meeting. It would have to be the second meeting in February if you postpone it.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion to postpone to the second meeting in February?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions? Your light's on, Vice President Worthman?
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, no questions, so thank you. So by motion, by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Brewster. This item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. I move to postpone this item to the meeting of February 24th.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is second by Councilmember Miller and Councilmember Brewster. Any discussion? All right, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Berge,
Aye?
Brewster,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Imboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman, Anderson.
Aye. That item passes. It's postponed. Okay, we have two ordinances for action. First one, Fuji Lane. Ordinance changing the name of Red Delicious Way to Fuji Lane within the Orchard Hills development. Director Ness talked on this last night.
I had no calls or questions related to this item, and I can take any questions if there are any.
Okay. Any questions? Councilmember Boga?
Thank you, Council President. Dr. Ness, can you walk me through how did they come out with this word Red Delicious Way, and how did they come up with the Fuji?
So Orchard Hills development, the streets within the platted development are all named after apples. So different types of apple names. They decided to replace Red Delicious with Fuji apple, and that's how we ended up with Fuji.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, no more questions. Thank you. So, motion by Councilmember Mboga, second by Vice President Worthman. This item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Worth or Brewster?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say that since the name Red Delicious in and of itself is a lie, they're not delicious, that I wholeheartedly support this change to a much more delicious apple name.
Okay, duly noted. That'll be in the minutes. Okay. Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. I would like to echo the sentiments of Councilmember Brewster that Fuji is the superior apple to Red Delicious. I fully support this name change.
Hot takes tonight. All right. And Councilmember Anderson?
Thank you. I'd just like to add a little bit of historical context in support of my colleagues' remarks regarding these apples. In changing this name tonight, we'll be actually following in a federal government tradition. The Red Delicious apple gained popularity in the 1950s because of marketing, because it looks really good. And then eventually taste turned away from it, but that led to a huge federal bailout of apple growers in Washington state, because it takes a really long time to change what kind of apple you grow when the popularity shifts. So, I'm just saying there's a lot of government history involved in changing your apple varieties, which is what we're doing tonight.
Interesting. The more you know. All right. Any other discussion? Do you have anything else to add? Councilmember? No? Okay. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'd just like to note that we bit off more than we.
There it is. There it is.
Really
I call
crunching
the
it.
question.
Okay. No more jokes. All right.
Doctors will stay away.
City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Brewster,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Imboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman, Anderson,
Aye.
Berge.
Aye. That passes unanimously. Okay, then we have sewers and sewerage. So this is ordinance amending Title 15 entitled Sewers, or is it sewerage? Is it, am I saying that right? Of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Eau Claire to include new definitions of permit terms pursuant to Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources regulations, other administrative updates. Director Lane.
Yes, I have nothing new to add about this not-so-delicious subject.
There it is. Is it sewerage? Am I saying, is that how you say it?
Yep,
Okay.
sewerage.
Sewerage.
Yep.
Is there any questions about the sewerage? All right, okay. Then by a motion made by Councilmember Miller, second by Councilmember Reed, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Johnson,
Aye.
Imboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Okay, under announcements and updates. City Manager Hirsch.
Thank you. First, I just wanted to thank Councilmember Serrano, who went with City Attorney Nick and Community Development Director White and Deputy City Manager Solberg on a very long day to Madison to testify on Assembly Bill 885, which is related to extraterritorial jurisdiction, which I can explain if anybody wants to know more. But it was a long day, and we appreciate her joining that group, and as well as the staff people. And then also on Saturday, there is going to be a clear vision listening session. And if any of you would like to go to observe or probably potentially also participate, it would be great if you want to see how that works. And it's from 10 to noon, and it's on your calendar. It's at the RCU building. And we are selecting 30 random residents from across the city to participate. So it should be really interesting. It won't be perfect, but as we go into the work session about collecting feedback for the comprehensive plan, you can think about how this particular tool might work.
Any other updates? Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Council President. I would just like to draw attention to the fact that today, January 27th, is Holocaust Remembrance Day. It's the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz concentration camp by Soviet troops in 1945. When I was a child, this was something I read about and studied it more in college, and it's sort of become a defining pillar of my personality, sort of the fact that never again needs to be more than just words, it needs to be actions. So I just wanted to draw attention to that and I guess invite you to remember that along with me.
Thank you. Councilmember Mboga.
Thank you, Council President. I wanted to tell you that I applied for a couple of council board jobs with the National League of Cities, and I was lucky to be nominated or appointed for the race, equality, and leadership for 1 year.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing that. It's a big deal. Thank you. Great. Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to mention that I think as everyone here and nationwide is aware, tensions have been high in our nation lately. We've heard that a lot with our public comments 2 weeks ago earlier this month, and then again last night some of our speakers expressed fear, anxiety, and sadness. Some people have noted that for the meetings earlier this month and also tonight, I didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. On the meetings of January 12th and 13th, instead of standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, I took a moment for myself to have a moment of silence for Renee Nicole Good. And I thought that'd be a one-off instance, but today I took a moment of silence for Alex Preddy. I hope in 2 weeks' time I don't have to take a moment of silence.
Thank you. Any other comments? I will say we do have the point in time count tomorrow. I signed up very late today, so people can still sign up. It's tomorrow. We're with Western Dairyland, and they're launching it out of the new DRC as well. So it's kind of late. I think you have to be there by 10, and you go till maybe 2 in the morning or so, counting folks that are experiencing homelessness in our community. So I think just so if anyone wants to join that, I'm sure you're welcome. So let me know, or else you maybe all got an email as well. But if you didn't, let me know and I can get you connected. So, all right. Yes, and we do have a work session. Thanks, Larry. So no running away. But with that, we will adjourn this meeting. Thanks, everyone.
Could we get a 5-minute before the work session?
Next to me. If you don't understand, you can sit here.
Did you get an email from? Search for Dale Torrance, because he gave. Absolutely.
No, I don't, take it, keep it, enjoy, you got it.
Thank you.
Thankfully, I didn't write, I hate Cory on the back.
I almost expected.
No, it's all you.
Continue to start. Yep. And if it's finicky, just maybe that might over here, but it should be, yeah, it should be good for that.
Okay, I think actually, I asked, let me see. Do I know?
It says begins at 11 p.m.
See Carrie's picture in the newsletter. Or read the newsletter. Yeah, she's great, she's amazing.
She's got good at that.
Yeah, I can imagine you get better at it. Does she have a good camera or does she just use it? That's cool. That's a hobby that I would like to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'll forward it. Oh, yeah.
And so he did photography too.
Oh, cool. Back in the day. Oh, that's cool. I like what, Mike Shots always has the Eagles. Yeah.
Same subject matter.
Yes. I have to go to a pep band game at 6:05. I have to go to a pep band performance at the North High School basketball game. But I could take Northern Light. So we'll see.
6:05.
But I could probably either just leave or I could.
Are you from the, you're Aiden?
Matt.
Matt, sorry.
No, you're good.
Of the leader, right?
Yep.
You can sit at the front table if you ever want to.
No, I just feel nervous.
No, it's okay. You are welcome here.
You've been doing great so far. A lot of good stories you're coming up with.
Thanks, yeah. I know there was discussion on, well, it'll be in tomorrow's story, but some interesting stuff in the meeting today, so.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's reserved for us, so.
Yeah, I've been told. If it gets busy enough, it was closed last night, but I'll step up there for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tend to avoid the cameras whenever like there's TV there. I'm always like dodging.
You're in the back.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm glad you're here.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can we try to restart or can I try to get people to come in or?
Yeah, I think they went to La Fala. Is that right?
Went where?
La Fala, they used the La Fala.
Yeah, the
That's
bathroom?
British. That's
We-
British.
Sometimes we call it the bathroom, the ballroom.
That's America. The British, they call La Fala.
No.
Is that right?
We just lost another one.
Oh, no, I think you went to go get them.
Otherwise you just.
Oh, you're right.
It's like running cats.
I love cats.
That's it, you're gonna like what you do. Yeah, you say you did not get up, but
Okay. Let's try to regroup. I'll go.
Stephanie has to leave. Yeah.
I gotta you're paying to go to. I think you can start. No.
Let's see if she comes back. Ready, set, go. Are you starting? Or is Stephanie?
Good evening, Council, Council President. This is a chance to weigh in on our comprehensive plan. So we're very excited to come before you to initiate the process with our Plan Commission and City Council. We've got background slides in the packet, so if you had a chance to look at those, I can kind of skim through those. If you have questions, just stop me. But just to give you more of a sense of what this project is, we've got a great comp plan, award-winning comp plan through the American Planning Association Wisconsin chapter. It's been awarded, updated, so it's very accessible to our public. And really, what is it? Some of you have been through this process and know Councilmember Worthman's been through it multiple times, but some are brand new to this. It's more of a high-level plan related to land use. The state law defines it as a comprehensive plan means a guide for physical, social, and economic development of a local government. Our jurisdictions, but also outside of that for about 20 years or beyond, containing high-level goals, sort of almost like an airplane view down. So a project that might come through like a capital improvement plan would be then articulated through that plan, funded and built through that process. But the comp plan might suggest it. To say, in 15 years when this subdivision comes in, we want a road through there to connect point A and B, so let's at least lay that out on a map. So there's a lot of maps in this plan to show the city's vision. And this is the main exhibit, is this future land use map that will be updated. We'll do some different scenario testings and things like that to arrive at a preferred alternative plan. And then how does it relate to the other plans? Ideally, it's consistent with overlapping jurisdictions, but we know we do have some different issues there related to different movements with different towns, and how we work together with that will be to be determined. But we don't have to be consistent with their plan, so keep that in mind, that we kind of can be our own manifest destiny in terms of how we want to lay out development in our extraterritorial review area. So then how is it developed? Typically, obviously, you've already allocated the budget. It's $250,000 for this process. We select through the RFP process that you eventually will award the contract, that winning consultant or sub-consultants to do the job, work with staff, work with you through the process. Typically, there's a few phases or stages. I'll go through those in more detail in a little bit. And then the Plan Commission has to hold the public hearing at the end, and they adopt it by resolution. It's kind of particular, but then you guys actually adopt it by ordinance at the end. And so it's not a law, but it's more of a policy guide. Usually it's about 18 months to 2-year process. These are elements of the typical public participation plans. This plan is required by the state law that we actually have to articulate, and that's what's in your packet. So I'll go through that in depth, again, just to save time, but I won't go into each one of these things, but each one of these things are in the plan. These are the elements that are required by the state law. So 9 chapters or elements are required. Again, land use, housing, transportation, parks, community facilities, economic development, and so on. We've added different things like downtown, neighborhoods, urban design, historic preservation, sustainability, and health. And so those are things to think about as we move into this next update. Also, other plans are adopted or referenced into there, or other specialized studies like a wastewater treatment study might be referenced in the plan to say, this plan is a high-level goal or policy, but then the wastewater treatment plan specifies how it will be built. So there's a lot of interaction and dovetailing in between different plans, and we'll go through all of that as staff to make sure that there's alignment. And again, the comp plan is looking at more land use, so zoning it's got to be consistent with the exception of conditional use permits, which is an oddball, but state law allows that to be not consistent. Subdivisions, which you just updated with that land development ordinance. Official mapping, where we may want new roads or parks or facilities that we actually want to map and secure when a developer comes to propose a project. Capital improvement planning helps you to understand where that road should go, or utilities and facilities. So this is kind of cool. Dug back to the past, and our first comprehensive plan was in 1953. So this is the 7th generation of this, And we've had a strong legacy of planning throughout our history as a community, going back to our first zoning code in 1923. And so you can see how it's just all built on itself over time. Now we have this great opportunity. So again, the zoning alignment that you just went through with the LDO really looked at how zoning should be consistent with our current comprehensive plan. So that was a lot of the direction and feedback as we shaped the current ordinances through the current plan. But as this gets updated, then there might be, again, some new direction to say change this ordinance or that ordinance. The comprehensive plan strengths that we've seen over time, I've been here 18 years now with the city, legacy of strong plans, as I pointed out. We're very comprehensive. We add extra chapters. Compact development growth strategy has been our main growth strategy for 30 years to try to leverage our existing assets and infrastructure to be more cost effective while reducing the pressure on that outgrowth into farmland and environmental features. Again, helps inform capital improvement planning, and public involvement's always been a cornerstone of the process, so we'll go through that. Main growth strategy, I just mentioned it, that urban compact development. We do have that extraterritorial review area that we can exercise, and we have those intergovernmental agreements with the 5 towns. Those are up in 2031. So it'll be interesting to see if those get renewed or how that will shape out. But that is a issue that we'll have to talk and think about together as we plan our growth for the future. So please keep that in mind, that those expire in 2031. And some may change if a town becomes incorporated. So other issues, and you know of many of these too, and more will be defined and identified as we go through the whole process, but forecasting our growth, our land supply that we need. You had from Director White an industrial conversation about land supply that's needed there. We're going to need to look at that, how we actually pay for these services as we still grow, update our mapping, our sewer service area, what's most effective to deploy our utilities to the certain growth areas, transportation mapping, corridors, neighborhoods, you name it, affordable housing, of course, all choices of housing, upper end housing and such, economic development incentives and tools and things like that. So one thing that we're very excited as planners to kind of nerd out on is we've already have this sort of sub-consultant or contract that was needed to be obligated by last year with Housel Levine through a land use audit. So we have money already that's been contracted with them, which is separate but will inform the process to look at what we were calling a complete neighborhood index. So we would like ideas from you and others about what areas or amenities or services that you want to actually map. Could be healthcare. I put that up there in that map there. This is from Helena, Montana, that they recently did this with a walkability and bikeability shed, so we can see that free access to those amenities, map that, and see how that might actually relate to underserved areas and where we need to actually in the comp plan maybe beef up, say, a new park in this particular area, or we need the private sector to come good on maybe a health clinic in this area because it's not there yet, or a new school, or you name it. So we can map any of those variables, put that down, and kind of do a heat map like you see in their city there. And then we also have a great opportunity to map the assessed land use values to see what kind of land use performs the best in terms of fiscal return for the city. And this is kind of a no-brainer, but in terms of mixed use and downtowns, you'll see that has the most land value return for the services that are provided. So we'd like to be able to map this as well, to then correlate these underserved areas with the fiscal analysis in this bivariant assessment, which is really neat to map these in 4 quadrants and then target recommendations in terms of what's needed for those neighborhoods, for downtown or new growth areas, to see where is it going to fall in that sort of 4-system quadrant, and then come up with recommendations. So this would be a powerful tool to help inform during our assessment phase, and then we can go in there to target our outreach in terms of like, we need to speak to this underserved group or this youth group in this area of the neighborhood because we know that they lack the amenities, and they're going to be the ones that are going to know a little bit better about why that is. Well, I can't reach it because there's a highway in between. So things like that we can then map and refine these things in our policy. So wanted to share that with you guys in terms of how deep we're going to go, and we've not been able to do that yet. The mapping technology is even better nowadays to do these sort of things. So very exciting there. Any questions before I go into the public participation plan?
Yeah, Clara?
Hi, so thanks so much, Ned. I'm interested, are we looking to do a revision to the old comprehensive plan or do a brand-new one?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it is a major update, so it'd look different, but we definitely want to carry over policies that you feel like we need to. You know, there's like a good foundation built here. As I had mentioned, we have a 30-year legacy of like compact development growth that you just reaffirmed with the zoning ordinance. So, you know, I'm assuming that that's something that's probably still valued, but we want to go through that process. And so then, but yes, it's a total refresh. One of the things that is...
So not a tweak really, but a kind of looking at everything
Right.
in some depth.
And see how thick this is?
Mhm.
I mean, this is a job for staff just to get through, but the average public, if you want them to actually spend any time with this, we want to make this more usable, attractive, better photography, less text, speak more directly with tables and charts rather than just a lot of text. And there's a lot of repetition going on with this too. So to consolidate that is one thing to make it more
So
usable for
pretty
you,
much a
for
rewrite
us,
then.
for the public as well.
Pretty
So
much
that-
a redo, a rewrite, kind of
Correct.
like the Century Code update,
Correct.
the zoning code. I mean, that was really kind of a brand-new document we ended up
Right.
with. That's the idea here. Thank you.
So great opportunity.
Yeah. Would you have like be digital friendly too?
Digital friendly, yeah, however we want to do, if we want to do, like in the past, I've looked at all of our 7 comp plans. We did posters, you know, this is the way we disseminated after this is the 1993 comp plan, and it's, like they did a big map that you could, you know, give to like schools and other areas, and then all the different like topical areas with like transportation. So it distills the big plan into a poster.
That's a good
You
idea.
can mount this on a wall, those people that really want to nerd out.
Neighborhood associations.
Yeah, exactly. So anything is fair game in terms of what we want to do to try to get it out to the public rather than just this massive document.
On a shelf.
Um,
Okay,
So,
great.
should I move on to the PPP?
Can you just explain how the neighborhood plans or the district plans or what this new piece figure into this?
Yeah, so the neighborhood plans, you know, it's great that they're getting more activated and things like that, and everyone wants a plan. So you've already allocated this in the capital improvement plan, but to actually do sort of more mid-scale plans where we bundle a few neighborhoods together and then capture other areas that are not represented so that we have better planning equity around the whole city. So that's to be determined, but you've already done sort of a district concept of like 4 districts, right? Well, when you did your meetings.
Oh, yeah.
So we could look at that as a model, but wherever we just draw the line, so to speak, you know, there'll be these sub-plans that we can then do further after this plan. So then that helps to keep those neighborhood plans fresh. And instead of like 15 of them, we have 4 or 5, and it's easier to be able to, a lot of the time it's just regurgitating the same stuff over, but making sure that, you know, everybody's represented is the goal.
Great. Okay.
So the public participation plan, again, this is required by state law, so we have to put this down on paper, each phase. So I put this in your packet. I have just a couple slides that distill it down. Here we go. So I don't know if you can see that this is not in the packet, but this is the stages. So I just think of it as like an adventure. We're going on a trip together. I like Volkswagen, so get in the VW Bug with me, and we're going to go through this process. The stage 1 is just getting organized, kind of what we're doing right now. Select that consultant, get our committees in all set up, and then launch. And then we're going to get into our heavy community engagement. We want to hear about the issues. We want to do our assessment background, our index that I just talked about with complete neighborhoods. Get all that fact-finding kind of stage together. So that will be a key engagement period, and that will pretty much wrap up this year then. And then we head into the next year, brainstorming, again, with community engagement, with you, with our advisory committee, and I'll go through all this stuff in detail next, but then shaping sort of the policies and the goals and the vision, reaffirming anything that we want to keep into the content development. So that would be then stage 3 after the assessment, and that's really where the consultant is doing a lot of the writing and mapping. That's what they're getting a lot of paid for in terms of producing that deliverable. But shaping it, you guys shaping it, we'll have some interactions with you, whether it's a work session or however we want to do it, Plan Commission included, and then have the deliverable ready for adoption. So then the public hearings at the Plan Commission and also at City Council. And through each stage, there'll be 3 main opportunities for each of the relevant boards, committees, and commissions to be engaged. So it will come to them, like say the Sustainability Committee, they will get a chance to weigh in on the issues. They'll look at the sustainability chapter, for example. They'll say, this was carried out pretty well, but here's some new things, or we didn't complete this. Here's our recommendations. We'll fold that in the assessment, and that will help to work on the plan content development. They'll get another crack at it at that point with other recommendations, and then the final draft, they'll get another crack at it then too. So there'll be three times when like Housing Opportunities Commission, SAC, Transit Commission, Parks and Waterways, these boards that typically deal with land use. So keep that in mind. And then I just put a stage 5 in there. After it's all said and done, we typically have a 5-year check-in period where then we update it on the minor. And we did that in 2022. Some of you may remember that. So it's a living document and continues to be updated as needed. So the Comprehensive Advisory Committee. So I've done this multiple times now. The last one had 50 people on it. So if you look at the list.
Did that work?
Well, I'll tell you, it did and it didn't. So they're all named on the cover sheet in here. All the people they served, but not all of them served the whole way through. Some were more committed, others were less. And so what we're recommending this time is to have more of a smaller group, people ideally that wear multiple hats. Like one person I'm thinking of that would represent the neighborhoods now because she just got appointed chair of the Master Neighborhood Association is Susan Wolfgram. So she's also on Jonah. So people like this that have like multiple hats would be ideal candidates to reach out to and form this committee. So they maybe Christina Thrun on Hawk. She's the chair of Hawk, but she's also the executive director on Housing Builders Association. So people that have like multiple hats would be ideal. And if you have any suggestions, let me know. So this is what we're recommending. And so that group will be sort of like a steering committee, but they're not like the final be all. So each one would sign an agreement similar to like how you did with the Zoning Policy Advisory Committee, so that they know that they're not like you guys are actually the ones that approve the plan. But they're committed. They're going to serve for at least 10 meetings, 2-hour meetings. They're probably going to have homework. They got to be involved. They just don't show up at meetings and say something, but they know their stuff. So we want those committed individuals, and a lot of the cities, they'll do that. They'll have a small advisory committee. And then to reach out those other groups that might have less time, but we still want, is focus groups. So you can imagine a whole bunch of the neighborhood leaders, like each chair or vice chair or other people that want to be involved. We have multiple meetings with the neighborhood associations to say, how do you want to be involved? We'll also have like workshops that are broader too for the general public. So the focus groups will have one for developers, real estate people, environmentalists, you name it, So that will kind of dovetail in with that. And then pop-up events can be targeted where the people are. So that's the key community engagement feature, is go where the people are. Not many people come to us here. And then interviews, we'll do specific one-on-one interviews. By the way, I was trained by Mike Huggins for Clear Vision Eau Claire by the Center of Democracy in Augsburg College, so I do know how to do one-on-one interviews and civic work projects. I went through 2 processes with him with the Regional Transit Authority and also Parkland Dedication back when I was first hired. So I do know the Clear Vision process. And what else we got? Interviews, office hours, presentations. Sometimes we'll get requests from like different groups, Sierra Club or Rotary Club for, what is the comprehensive plan? We go out to them. And then the Plan Commission by the state statute and the land development ordinance actually approves this plan. So we want to get your feedback, but then I'll go to them on February 2nd and get their approval on the plan, and then we'll go out for the RFP. So they approve that. They'll approve the list of the committee as well. But if you have any ideas of people, that would be great. Let me know, because we'll reach out. Hopefully they'll be interested in volunteering. So I just wanted to show you how all of this sort of works together. Like, there's a lot of feedback loops that go on. It's almost like the conductor is the project team, where we're working with this great orchestra of stakeholders. We're trying to make beautiful music in the comp plan, and there's a lot of information, whether it's the online survey that people can take. We'll have like a mapping function where people can map their comments to actually georeference it with that survey, and these other things I just talked about. But all that information is funneling, usually 2-way, but all of it's funneling into the project teams. Our responsibility to make sure you guys are well informed, that the advisory committee is well informed, that there's that 2-way information flow back, so that ultimately you guys can feel comfortable when the plan gets to you, that it's ready for adoption and you're not having to say, take it back. So that's the ultimate goal. And so, not all the bits and pieces are articulated in this plan, and that's meant to be, because we still need to hire that consultant and figure out kind of some of those little minutia things. But you can see the overall vision of how we're going to actually engage people with this process. So to wrap it up, that's what we're trying to do, is get your input, any other thoughts about this process, and then I'll go to the Plan Commission on the 2nd, get their approval, do the RFP, and then we'll launch into the process after that. So probably maybe like May or June we launch to the public officially.
Great. I think, well, if it's okay, just go around and people can comment. So that's just Emily's first.
All right, yeah, I think this sounds fantastic, and I thought the slides were really fun too. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think this looks great. Just one thought that occurred to me as we think about that advisory group. Obviously, we have some great folks, already serving who are already known to us, who are often serving on our boards and commissions. But one area of the community that I don't know that we have a lot of intentional reach out to would be like labor unions, and I think that might be a way to add just some additional representation as we think about that advisory group.
I don't think I have a lot to comment on, other than I'm excited about this. It sounds good. I just can't believe that Century Code update just didn't burn you out, and you're just like ready to dive into another big thing. Wow. I guess one small question is, I guess this has all been budgeted already. I should know this, but it's in our operational budget?
Yeah, the capital improvement plan, actually.
It's part of the CIP.
The
Okay.
$250,000 has been allocated, so that should produce a nice plan for you.
And that's over multiple years, I guess? Yeah.
3.
3 years. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no real comments. I think it looks great. Thanks for the presentation. I probably missed it, but will it be similar to like with the zoning process? There was that like council would go to those meetings every 3 or 4 months, whatever it is, or will you just be providing like periodic updates, or will we be involved that much? Really more so just the committee?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I forgot to mention, we would like 2 plan commissioners and 2 city council members to be that connector back on that advisory committee, if you like that idea. And then they can, like during your updates and things like that at the end of the meeting, share. And then also, we do intend to actually interact with you as a full body at key points in the process where we may need, say, strategic direction from you when we're struggling with something and we just need to make sure that council, you guys are on board with that. So there'll be some other opportunities, you and the Plan Commission, at key junctures besides the 2 appointees.
Cool, thanks.
Question? Right. Aaron?
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, I think it's, at least to me, it's really important that with the public participation, it not feel to the people that are participating like they're being marketed to. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes it feels like, at least it has to me in the past, when dealing with organizations trying to get public input, that it's not, they're not actually so much interested in the public input, but they're more interested in just like, they already have the decision made up and they're trying to market it. So it's like really important to me that when we have people in focus groups or interviews or whatever, that it doesn't feel like that to them. The other thing is, I don't know, I didn't see a category on there, but I think it would be really useful to have some of that community input and also, expertise on some, potential upcoming friction points that we might have to deal with, like, AI and climate change and things like that, in a much more focused way. I mean, certainly climate change is a wild card. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like here. But there's some things that we have a pretty good idea about, and it's like, how do we want to, because we're kind of getting past the point where we're going to stop it, so we're just going to have to deal with it probably. And how do we do that in a way that's equitable to the people of Eau Claire? Because this is a 20-year plan, and how can we, mitigate the worst aspects of that? Same thing, with potentially AI or, self-driving taxis, or, what does transportation in Eau Claire look like if we have a major, like, oil shock, or just sort of some resilience planning, I guess, is maybe a broad category that I think would be useful. So that's all I had, but other than that, it looks really good.
Yeah, that's great. And, some of these cross-cutting themes, whether it's like climate change or resiliency, you name it, equity. One thought, too, we had is to create indicators rather than separate chapters, but to lace those themes, those concerns, those value sets that transcend transportation, land use, environment, and you weave those in there to show, maybe use logo, little indicators or icons or something, so that we know that policy A, B, and C all address climate change. Sure. Or equity or something like that. So that is to be determined, but that way then you're condensing more and you're not having all these chapters that say the same thing over, but just in a different lens. But you kind of weave those value sets through at least the 9 required chapters. So to be determined, but sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. For me, I like it. And the only comment I will make is there are some committee members who are in EDI who are a minority, and I think it would be good for them to be included, because sometimes when I talk to minority group, they always feel like they are not represented equally. Some presented maybe one large group, maybe Hmong, but there's Africans, there's Mexicans, there's all these ones. So it's always good to involve those ones, so that they can feel they can also eat this pie called Eau Claire, or they can be part of the decision. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that to our attention, and we will engage different audiences like that. We did that with the zoning, and so one good thing is, like, the focus groups are really good at that, where, like, I met with the United Cerebral Palsy group and had lunch with them and got their input on the zoning code. So, whatever is most effective for them, we can address that for sure. That's important.
You had said in the mapping, you're maybe looking for feedback, and you talked about healthcare, which I think is good. I think including mental health care too, because sometimes mental health care is separate than health care. I think maybe looking at childcare also, availability, if that works. I don't know if that's too. And then, housing, and I know, like, the health department, they do their housing, what it's called, every year. They take a different section.
It's a community. It's like a health needs, community needs assessment.
They just looked at housing though, in each part of the city, and then
Oh,
they put
yeah,
up.
inspections.
Yeah, so that might be helpful too.
Definitely.
The two city council members wanted, could we appoint those at the April organizational meeting? Or is that too late?
That should work.
Okay,
Mhm.
just that for, okay. And I agree with Larry too, just that if we're engaging with all of our boards and commissions, the EDI commission, but also the group that True is leading, that also would be a good group, because she's more outward facing, I think, public facing, I forget what it's called, but. Nexus group. And I think they're looking for things to help with too, so, yeah. Thanks, Ned.
Thanks.
I think I want to add a second to Councilmember Brewster's suggestion about a resilience chapter. It could look a lot of different ways, but this was a plan that I remember we added a few chapters after the update as well for people to keep in mind. Like, I think our sustainability chapter maybe came as an addition, and the health chapter I think was an addition as well. Maybe even those were through the update of 2015. It wasn't clear to me how new chapters get added or chapters taken away, but that's maybe something that we want to have a conversation about, if we want to streamline to just the state required ones, or we want to continue having a broader set of chapters. If we have a broader set of chapters, we might look to our strategic plan as what if those align with our strategic plan. For example, how does our community continue to be a place that welcomes all people? Do we want to actually set that into some kind of a plan that we want to work toward? You know, we've done health, we've done sustainability, maybe welcoming people from all backgrounds, faiths, and ethnicities is something that like we want to prioritize in this community, and we'd like to follow a plan to do that. Just an idea. So I guess that's just a little feedback, conversation about chapters, whether they're needed, how many, whether we want to add, and then the resilience piece, which I think is super important. We should have a resilience chapter.
Just going back to the advisory committee, how many, you said like maybe 12 to 14 members on
15.
the, 15? And then you kind of said like who would be on this, like, could you kind of go over again what types of people you're looking to, I know diverse background, and kind of highlight that again. And then also how often, you know, if I'm trying to tell people about it, how often would this committee be meeting?
Yeah, I already generated a draft agreement, so, you know, expecting probably 10 meetings, 2 hours, 2.5 hours each meeting.
2 meetings for over the next?
Over a year and a half.
Year and a half, okay.
Probably 18 months or so. But yeah, anybody who, you know, I mean, it can be anybody, but really somebody who knows the city, you know, in their particular skill set or knowledge base. Somebody who ideally wears multiple hats is great. Like I talked about a couple of them today, but obviously the 9 elements that are required, we would want somebody from those areas: housing, transportation, and such. And then, other like we've got the 4 people from 2 from Plan Commission, 2 from Council, so that's 4 right there. So that's like 11 left if you want somebody from an EDI point of view would be great. Environmental, you know, again, the 9 chapters for sure. Maybe another value set if there's somebody with resilience background. Sports, you know, the health department recommended somebody, which seems like she has a lot of hats that she wears. So, you know, if you have ideas and names, just send it my way. And because some people might not be able to have the time to do it. So backup names are always good too.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the newest council members, and as you guys know, I was appointed to Plan Commission last year, and so I just realized, or I'm learning every day how important this plan is, and I look forward to watching it change and nerding out on complete neighborhood indexes.
Andrew had a question.
If I could ask, Ned, just to be clear, that the advisory commission will go through the appointments process?
That will be with the plan commission, because they approve the public participation plan, so they'll have the name.
Okay.
But like Emily had mentioned, you guys will have to appoint your 2 people on there.
Yeah, so I'm clear. They'll get a list already at plan commission and then give a thumbs up, or will they be able to actually select the people who will serve on the advisory committee?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, there's 2 ways you could do it. You could create a formal application, but typically we just reach out in a familiar way just to say, you know, would you be interested? And, you know, you seem like somebody that would be great with this. And if they accept, then, you know, we have them sign this agreement. But we would have them sign this after that set of names would be brought to the plan commission to kind of christen it. Because we want to lock that down. Now, if it changes, we'd probably bring it back to the plan commission, you know, to make sure that they're comfortable with it. If there's a new member appointed or something, somebody they move and they resign or something like that. So there's changes like that. But generally, we want to keep that just like a group that's like committed, if you want to call it that. That they know what they're in for.
I think I would be in favor of a little bit more of a application or some process that expands beyond the normal people who we generally think of for these roles. If there's a way to capture that, through the resource bank or something like that.
The application process does take a longer process like that. Typically, you know, we're asking you for those people that you think might be good. And then we obviously know people as well, and through that sort of organic process. But if you want to do an application, then the issue with that is then who approves those application. And the plan commission is the one that's authorized by the public participation plan in your code to actually do this. So it gets to be more cumbersome, if you will, rather than sort of like, are you interested? Yes, I am. And
I'd add one of the things we talked about, Mr. Newell and I talked about, was potentially going to our boards, committees, and commissions who are all members appointed by council and looking for representation from existing committees and commissions to serve some of the chapters. That way, these are folks that had been vetted and approved by council, but it's also an accelerated process and helps keep it moving forward. So that is one of the things that we've looked at as a way to tap into folks that have subject expertise in the various areas that they would be following under the chapters.
Can I chime in with my thoughts?
You want to say some thoughts?
Yes, I want to
Okay,
share.
then we'll go to Emily and Aaron.
Okay, thank you. So one is that you guys have so just like in our strategic planning process about community engagement, everybody who participated really reiterated that they feel that underrepresented voices don't really drive conversation here. And so I think it's really important to think about how do you get different voices, and we know that a lot of people who show up are not necessarily representative of the community, and not to say that probably the values are similar and it would probably end up all kind of similar anyway, but if we're going to spend a lot of money on a consultant to do this, I really think, and I was sharing this with Ned, but I really think we should work hard at that piece of it. And I was suggesting that we allocate some of the funding for local efforts, like I think some people you should compensate to come and comment, like whether they be high school students or busy people. We could, in my opinion, we should push money down to organizations that could organize events and collect feedback. You could have like a movie, people produce movies and then have a showing at the theater and people have a debriefing after that. But to me, I'm just concerned about how do we make sure it's not very similar to rehashing the same concepts that we regularly rehash with the same people. And then other thoughts I have are that I personally am thinking about how does this jive with all the other planning processes and studies underway. So it's kind of a unique effort because it's really based in our community development and planning division, but it has to do with the whole city. So how do we make this really, especially because we're going to put a lot of money into this, a lot of effort, how do we make it really a living process across everything we do? So and how do we get these kind of like aha moments, you know, like if we want to talk about mobility and the future of mobility and the intersection of mobility and equity and affordability and economic development and neighborhood formation and et cetera, and collective bargaining, like who would you have to have in the room to really have like the sparks fly and have those aha moments that would allow us to think about something in a different way? And so I just want to make sure that we're not just going through the motions to affirm that, yeah, this is what we think. And then one other piece is that I think it would be really cool, though I'm not sure if it's a good idea, to have this plan have really ambitious, like have 5 ambitious metrics. Like we want to have a population of 100,000 people by 2030, so 100 by 30, or we want what? Okay, I'm just saying, for example.
Any idea what that would do to our vacancy rate? If you think people have a hard time finding housing now.
We gotta keep building.
We'll save that for the lively discussions in the future. But how could you come up with these that we agreed on? Like how could you come up with these pillars of ambition for our community that really like just lays out this like really exciting future?
I love that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
200,000 by 20.
He's supposed to start with 2/3 the size
Can we change our carbon neutrality goal at the same time? Make it a little more aggressive?
Wait, what do you say?
Make our carbon neutrality goal a little more aggressive since we're feeling
At the same time. Yeah.
Everybody has to take in 2 more families into their home.
Oh my God.
Oh, you can build ADUs. Like if
Be an empty nester.
empty, yeah, we have the rooms, we have the floor space, we have the backyards.
God.
We can do it.
Okay, all right, Emily.
3 quick things. I loved everything you just said, Stephanie, about like we need lots of different brains on this, including from groups we haven't heard from. And I love the idea of having some clearly communicated, bold goals so that the community can dream and can vision and can work together. And I also wanted to highlight my colleagues' comments about resilience, diversity, welcoming, and thinking about, so much is all connected, as you were saying, Stephanie, but like I often think of belonging and resilience as kind of the same thing, because I think if people have a lot of connection and belonging to the community, that we become more resilient, we become more able to take action together to when whatever kind of crisis that we can't imagine like surfaces. And so I feel like, I don't know, I think that could be a chapter, an index, however we're imagining it, is a belonging and resilience together type of approach. Right? Yeah.
So this was a while ago, so my memory might not be super great, but back when Iceland redid their constitution, like anybody could like apply to be on the committee. You just had to have like, I think for their constitutional committee, it was like 50 rec letters from other citizens. That's a little bit excessive for Eau Claire, but we could do like 5 if you wanted to do it. And the more diverse and, people, like you get somebody from, a church organization and this over here and this over here. And if your rec letters are super diverse and we're like, this person really represents our interests in these ways, then we would potentially have a pool to pull from. And I think that could be done relatively quickly. But just an idea for that. And the other thing I just wanted to say, I totally, the more I think about it, the more I really like the sort of like permanent project team idea. I feel like that was a source of some friction with the zoning update, because people were getting, like, new council people got sat, and then like some people like myself had different ideas than what you had been working on for a year, and potentially the same thing with Plan Commission. So having a set group of people that sort of guides it seems like a really good idea. So.
Great, thanks. Larry, did you?
Yeah, for me, I like to add something small. So I was thinking, in the advisory committee, I wish we can have like a single mom, high school kid, a college kid, a lawyer, a doctor, No, it's supposed to be.
All these people have to do sports.
No. I think we should have people from all walks of life. I'm sorry. People from all walks of life so that they present it. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be nice. Because the lawyer can help them also guide them or direct them. You know, I'm a lawyer, we need to do this one. So we have all these people. And also Q people from the Q, the gay and lesbians.
LGBTQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great if this committee represents our city, you know, like even percentage-wise. So half should be male, half should be female, even, yeah.
Or you could have a very small governance committee, even just like city council and plan commission members, but then really put the bulk of the work in something like these values houses where you really are collecting information from different people. Or I think about like scientists too, like who are there people in Eau Claire who know what the technology is going to be in 10 years? You know what I mean? And could they do a workshop and then really help us paint this vision, you know, or artists or...
I just have to chime in. I'm not being a Debbie Downer, but this is a land use plan. So there is social elements to it and all, but remember that it's not a plan to do everything in our city. A lot of, like in Montana, they call it a land use plan. Here we call it a comprehensive plan. In California, they call it a general plan. So it's meant to be like how we want to develop over time. Now that does include social, you know, and it has broadened over time. So the meaning has changed over time, but its bread and butter is how we use our land. And so the physical growth, and that plays out with economics and social too. So how does that all, weave that all together? But, you know, again, I just stress that we need to find people that want to be committed if they're going to be on the committee. Like to be at 10 meetings for 2 hours, to review the material, to be prepared. You know, we might have the greatest suggestions, but maybe they're better just like an interview, you know, to make sure that that's captured. They don't have the time to be on the committee. So that's why there's all these kind of extra opportunities for them to be involved rather than just a committee, because that's a lot of work on the committee. So just letting you know that there's, you know, options for people wherever it fits with their life.
No.
Sorry, I've been here too long.
It's just rude, yeah.
I just looked up Madison's comp plan, and they have the normal chapters of land use, growth framework, transportation. Then they have other things like neighborhoods and housing, economy and opportunity, culture and character, green and resilient, and effective government, and health and safety. So it includes, you know, some of these other aspects we've been talking about.
We have a health chapter.
Okay, but I think we have to figure out how much money do we need to do the minimum? And then once we've done that, I think it's really up to this group to decide what they want to do. Because there's the obligatory stuff, but then the other stuff is really, the more they own it, the more it's going to reflect their vision for the future, you know? So like, what's the minimum we have to do, and then where's the room to maneuver?
Yeah, there's 9 required elements you have to do by state law. So then after that, it's up to, but this will all bear itself out in process. So it's exciting to think about the what ifs and the big goals and all that, but this will come through the process. As we get into the assessment, we'll start to identify, here's a need. Well, maybe let's have a big goal around how to address that need. So right now, it's kind of just out there. You know, it's hard to really have a tangible sort of, but through the process, you know, when we get into the goal setting, those type of, you know, good ideas that you have about like, could we make some ambitious goals? Those will become more apparent. Right now, we're just kind of, you know, it could be this, could be that. We don't really know. So I think the process will bear itself out. I've been through this multiple times. It will come. It will become more clear in time.
Trust the process. Okay, looks like Clara has one.
Thanks. I'm listening to everybody, and I'm really getting this sense that there's a big desire to make sure all voices are represented. And I think that's really, really important. But I have to also bring up that we, you know, especially in this time where expertise somehow is being devalued, that I think we really also need to recognize where do we need expertise. Because there are people in our community with PhDs in certain areas, and we want their, it's not just their voice, but I think expertise is going to really matter a lot in kind of how the process goes through. So yes, we want to listen to all voices. We want to be smart about how we really incorporate everybody, what everybody has to offer. But I want to caution us from, having too little expertise in this process, just for efficiency and for cohesion. Again, it's going to be a balance. We want all the voices for sure, but let's make sure we tap into the experts that we have in our community.
I just had something to think about is a lot of these great goals and high lofty goals, a lot of the comp plans tend to take that and how does it tie that back to the land use on that. Healthcare is a great outcome. You know, we want healthcare outcomes. That led to the trail expansions and the things that we did for walkability and bikeability. That's a health outcome that relates back to it. If we have a goal to grow to 100,000, what do we need from a land use to hit 100,000? We are not going to necessarily be able to build vertically within our existing borders. So where do we need to grow physically to be able to accommodate growth for the future and the jobs are going to have to come with it, the industries that will employ those folks that are now living here. So a lot of these goals still through the comp plan process tie back to how does that relate to how we develop and the growth, the physical growth of the community to reach these goals that we do. And that's where a lot of that ties into the comp plan process.
Great. Oh, Ethan.
Yeah, Ned, I wanted to ask you, you said this is the 7th iteration of our city's plan. And then Stephanie, you said the minimum viable product. Like if we just like spat out the exact same comp plan, like is there a legal requirement that we don't spit out the exact same language is what I'm asking. Like how, you know, so that we know when we are going above and beyond and when we're just not just giving the exact same thing.
Yeah, the current comp plan is way beyond the minimum requirement. So you've already done more than what's expected. So, again, this is a new opportunity to shape it, and it's going to look different. So it's up to the process. I don't think anybody fully knows. We know we have to do the 9. Outside of that, we don't really know what it's going to look like. But it's exciting to think about. So
They have printed copies down in planning. They're $5.
Can we at least, so it sounds like a decision point is who's on this. How do you pick people for the
Do we need
government?
to decide that right now?
yeah, I would like direction on that because if we do an application, that's going to be a process. We as staff, Aaron and I were thinking we would get your names, give the next couple weeks, get some names, and then we've been already generated a short list, and then start going out and talking to people about that. But we need to go to the Plan Commission to approve the public participation plan on the 2nd.
And who says that? That we need to go to the Plan
Yeah,
Commission?
we can delay that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can delay it, but then it delays the whole project, so that's fine, but,
Are they people that have to reside within the city?
No.
Or like what are there for your your dream project team, like, other than wearing multiple hats and being at least somewhat representative of the population of Eau Claire, do you have other things that you're looking for?
yeah, they don't have to live in the city, but they should really know the city well. If they don't, then maybe they lived here at one point, or they're, say, a developer, that knows the city that really well.
Andrew has a point.
I think my preference would be, I don't think it needs to be a long application, but I think it should go through the appointments process. And it would ideally be nice if, say we had 15 people that are going to sit on an advisory committee, we had double the number of applicants or more, so that appointments could actually choose among qualified applicants and recommend them with input from staff about who they think would be good, similar to how we do our board, committee, and commission. That'd be my preference.
I think we can use the resource bank. I mean, it's the same, wouldn't that work? So it's not even anything different. They would just put, they want to be part of this committee, and then they ask, why do you want to be on it? So you get their background. Yeah, and then get the list, and then Anashay would send it to staff, and you all get to look at it. That would allow us to capture a wide net. I know people might be nervous about that wide net, but you would still be able to say this person has has the
Quick
qualifications.
question, sorry, about the resource bank. Will the resource bank capture people who are already serving on our boards, commissions, and committees?
I think we would put out a call for
Okay.
participants. And sort of just to your point about experts, I think that there are experts who are not involved.
Correct.
For
Correct.
different reasons. And
Yeah.
so we're kind of missing them also.
100%, yeah.
Aaron?
I'm sorry, my brain just.
I'm gonna say something. Have you guys been in front of, have you guys been a jury? A jury, in the court, a jury?
Jury?
Yeah. Anybody else been a jury? I
I've
have.
served on jury.
I have.
I don't think that's a good idea for this.
No, I'm just saying, the jury, they ask you all kinds of questions for the case, because it can be different, in every case is different. So what I was saying, I'm trying to second what Andrew was saying, that we can have maybe 30 applicants. And these guys, maybe we can ask them, how long have you lived in Eau Claire? What do you think Eau Claire would look like in 10 years? From there, we can say, some people say, I don't care, I'll be moving out in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Then that one is obvious, he's out. You check him out, you can, because we need people who stay here for that. That's my view.
Nate, did you?
Yeah, just one idea where we could find some recruits. First off, my master's thesis was a critique of the 2015 Eau Claire Comprehensive Plan. And I'm afraid to look at it. It'll never see the light of day again. But I was thinking of this, just 80 miles away, there's a very large public policy school where they have local government as a degree path. And maybe that's a resource to reach out to. Maybe there are people there with Eau Claire connections. The Humphrey School. Yeah.
Oh, the one you said in California?
Yep.
Okay. Is there, oh, Josh, is it about the selection? 'Cause that's
Yes.
what, okay.
We talked about some processes to set up to, the resource database and this and that. When would you ideally like to have a committee selected and seated by, just so we can kind of just know that?
I wasn't anticipating this change of process, so I have to look at how long that would take. The Plan Commission was the one that was going to approve the list, and staff was going to kind of generate that, get your names, and kind of just do it organically, I explained. So I'll process, and if it goes to the Appointments Committee, and then does it go to City Council, all of this extra, it will take time. So I'm not quite sure if that will, we probably won't get started till at least June then. After school's out.
You're thinking June if we do this process?
Yeah, it'll take time.
And what were you anticipating if we had done the process you initially had in
May.
mind? When?
May.
May.
So a month.
But
I think this group is really important, and I can even see doing interviews. Like, if we really want to entrust that for the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to be working on it and guiding the next 10 years or 20 years of Eau Claire, it really has to reflect the values and priorities of this group. So I wouldn't,
yeah, well, with all due respect, we would be making sure that that's who we're trying to reach out to make sure we have as wide representation as possible on this committee.
but if they didn't have a role in approving who is on it, how could that happen?
Well, the Plan Commission will get to see it, because they're the ones that initiate the comprehensive plan amendment. That's what we did last time around. So if you want to switch it to City Council, that's fine. But you have your Appointments Committee, it sounds like you want to do, and then City Council ultimately says that, or approves that.
Yeah, and we can do appointments quick.
I have a thought. What if we take a week? Each of us picks 10 people that we think that would be good. We check with them, see if they'd be willing to do it. Sounds like a personal problem. Well, then ask people that you know who they think would be good. And then presumably there'll be some overlap. And then if you get this pile of people and you notice that there are certain glaring omissions, hats that aren't there, then we can try to fill from there. But my guess is that there'll be some overlap. Because then we can do that. That seems like something we could do relatively fast, and a lot more of the work would be on us.
I don't know if I get a vote in this, but I feel like this is a public process and we need to invite the public to participate and go through an application process.
And I think the people that you have identified in your head, give them the link to fill out the resource bank. I mean, you can still do everything you're gonna do, just like here, we want you to serve on this, just fill out this bank, and then you'll still get to put your stamp of approval on it. It just allows a wider net. I mean, we still, at the end, still might just pick the ones that staff wants, but I also think it's important to, because I don't know, there's people out there that have just moved here, or I don't know the 10 people I pick if they're gonna be the best ones, so.
Well, there's 100,000 people here, so.
In the county. I do think they should be city residents too. but-
Is it a big enough?
Microphone?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, just turning your microphone on.
Yes.
You talk, it's fine.
Is it a big enough net for Stephanie to put it in the newsletter?
Well,
Or
yeah,
do we
that's-
need to go, or do we
Yeah.
need to go more
Good
broadly than
idea.
that? Yes.
Well, and then if it's in the newsletter, while we're looking for people, we can point to, hey, here's the information, because, that way you'll have the solid official write-up and say, hey, look at this, and then they can share it more easily.
And we
too.
could just like do it in the next newsletter. I mean, we could just do
And
it
I think-
quickly.
And I agree, Ned, too, with, like, I'm all about informed consent and making real, like, people know what they're agreeing to, like, it's gonna be 10 hours a week or whatever. Yes. But be very clear about that in the ask of this is what we're looking for. And again, you can still go out and ask your people who you think, just it's gonna be all funneled through the resource bank. And appointments committee can meet pretty quickly. I mean, there's 3 of us. Is that okay?
I like that.
Okay. Any objections?
I mean, I don't think.
Tell your 10 people.
Dad, tell them to apply, your 10 people.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell way more than 10 if you're not gonna limit me.
You can invite all of our 10s. That's how many?
That's good.
200?
Dibs on her
Okay, I get, thank you for your clear direction, and that, I think this still works with the Plan Commission approving the public participation plan on the 2nd, because we can graft in this process. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Thanks, Ned, for being flexible. We just blew up your plan, I know, but thank you.
The beginning of the planning process. This is gonna go on for 3 years.
Yeah, great. Okay. Thanks, everyone. So we're done. Adjourned.
All right.